Hi, it's so good to see you. I'm Miss Lisa from Growing Brilliant in Granite Bay, and I have a really fun story I want to share with you for story time today. So we've been talking this week about springtime and gardens and what grows in the garden. So today I have a really fun book that I want to share with you. Are you ready to read it with me? Okay, very good. So we're going to talk a little bit about the book first. So this book is called Grow, Flower, Grow. That's the title of the book. That's what the book is called. So this book is written by Lisa Bruce and illustrated by Rosalind Beardshaw. Now, let's talk a little bit about the job of the author and the illustrator. What does that mean? The author is the person who does what? They write the story. That's right. And then the illustrator, what do? They make the beautiful pictures. You guys really know your stuff. Let's talk about the parts of the book. What do we call this part of the book? This is the title, Grow, Flower, Grow. But what do we call this part of the book? That's the front cover. That's right. So if this is the front cover, we call this the back cover. Very good. And then this part right here on the side, that's the spine. You're right. Now before we start reading, let's take a look at the cover of the book. And I want you to tell me, based on what you see, what do you think this book is about? What do you see in this book? I see a friend, a dog, and a flower. I wonder, should we open it up and find out? All right, let's open up the book. We call this the title page. Sometimes there are a couple of title pages. All right, and the story says, one day, Fran found a flower pot filled with soil. Poking out the top was a tiny green tip. I will grow this flower, said Fran to Fred. Wait a minute, who do you think Fred is? If this is Fran, Fred must be her dog. That's what I think too. So she told her dog, I will grow this flower. She took it home. Grow, flower, she said, but the tip stayed tiny. I think this flower is hungry, Fran said. Do you think she might be right? Do plants need to eat? They sure do. Maybe it's hungry. So Fran went to the fridge. Inside, she found some of her favorite food. Wait a minute. Do you think that flowers eat the same thing that we like to eat? Probably not. Let's see what she decides to give it. She gave the flower a slice of pizza. Oh my goodness, that's funny. The next day, Fran gave it a piece of cheeseburger. Cheeseburgers to a flower? That makes me laugh. Then she gave it spaghetti, 2 chocolate chip cookies, and a large spoonful of strawberry ice cream. Oh my goodness. What do you think happened? Do you think that made the flower grow? Let's find out. Oh, she even gave it one of Fred's juicy bones. Okay, so maybe flowers don't eat what we eat, but do they eat what dogs eat? No, silly. But the flower didn't grow. The tip stayed tiny, just like we thought. Fran was fed up. Do you know what fed up means? That means she didn't want to deal with this anymore. She gave up. And she said, silly flower, Fran said. She threw it out the back door. Oh no. What do you think happened after it went outside? Let's see. The flower pot fell onto the ground and rolled away. What do you see happening in this picture? What happened to that flower when it was outside? Can you see? It says, the rain fell on it. It's raining. Do flowers need rain? Or water? That's right. The wind blew on it. The sun shone on it. And finally, the tiny green tip grew and grew and grew until one day, Fran and Fred went outside to play. When they opened the door, a surprise was waiting. What do you think they found when they opened the door? I wonder. A big, beautiful flower, just for Fran. Do you see? That is a beautiful flower. The end. So what do you think happened to that flower when it was outside that made it grow? Let's think about it. She threw the pot outside. She probably could have placed it nicely outside. But what was in that pot when she put it outside? A tiny green stem. But what else? Soil. The story said there was soil in the pot, or dirt, right? Do flowers need dirt to grow? They sure do. And then what happened to that pot when it was outside? The rain fell. Do flowers need rain or water? They do. And then there was a third very important thing that happened. So we had soil, water, and what else? Sunlight. The sun was shining on the flower, and those three things together made that flower grow. That was a really fun book. Thank you so much for listening to me read the story to you. I would like to do an art project with you. Do you want to do some art? I was thinking that maybe we could make our own flowers. So give me just a moment. I'll be right back and we'll make a flower together. Okay, are you ready to make an art project together? We're going to make our very own flowers. So what you'll need for this project is a piece of paper. You can use any size, any color, whatever you have available at home. And then we're going to need something to write with, something to draw with. So we're going to be tracing our hands on the paper. So I prefer a pencil. I'm using a colored pencil, but at least that way we're not getting ink or anything on our fingers. But hey, if you have a marker and you want to use that, that's fine too. The other thing that we're going to need is a pair of scissors. Now I have grown-up scissors because I'm a grown-up, but if you have children's scissors, that's what we prefer for children to use. And if you don't, or if you need some help with cutting, your grown-up can help you cut, okay? We only cut when our grown-ups are around, right? We learned that at school. Okay, so, and then we're gonna need some kind of stem to add to our flower when we're finished with it. So I have a little bouncy fuzzy pipe cleaner stick, or you can find a stick outside, something to make the stem of the flower with. You can use a rolled up piece of paper to make the stem, whatever you have available. There's no wrong way to do it. So let's get started. We're gonna put our hand on the paper and just trace around the outside. Encourage your little one to trace their own hand. If you're able to do it, that's great. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just want a little outline, and if they need some help, you can give them some help. So I drew my handprint on my paper, and then I'm gonna cut it. So remember, when you're using scissors, your grown-up needs to be around, and the way we use our scissors is our wrists turned down with our thumb on the top. We put 3 fingers in the bottom, 1 finger in the top, and we cut just like that. So I'm gonna cut mine out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not following the lines on mine exactly. Just working on those fine motor skills, right? So when we cut, when we practice cutting, not only are we getting better at cutting and following directions, but we're really working on those fine motor skills that will help us be amazing writers one day. So tracing our hand, cutting the paper out, that's all working on those fine motor skills. And once you have your handprint cut out, it's gonna look something like this. Does that look like my hand? All right, now the next thing you're gonna do is I want you to decorate your flower. So I'm gonna use markers. You can use markers or paint or crayons, colored pencils, whatever you wanna do to decorate it. I'm gonna use purple, one of my favorite colors. And I'm just gonna color my flower. You can go all out decorating your flower. You can use sequins or glitter, tissue paper, whatever you have available to get creative with. Feel free to get creative. This is your flower, it's just for you. Practicing our creative expression. All right, so when you're finished decorating it, you'll have a handprint that looks like a flower. Now you can leave your flower just like this, or you can add your stem to it. So I'm gonna use my fuzzy pipe cleaner. And for this, all I really am gonna do is poke it through the middle of the handprint. So it's got a little bit of a pokey part on it. So I'm just gonna poke it right through. If you need some help from your grown-up to get a hole in it, go ahead and ask for help. And then once I have it through, I'm gonna bend it, and then I'm gonna twirl it around because I think that's really fun. Pull it out a little bit and make the inside of my flower. And now I have my very own flower, just like in the book we read, Grow, Flower, Grow. So again, if you don't have the exact things that I use, that's totally fine. I also found a stick that we could use as a stem. I would probably either glue it with some white school glue or hot glue. You can use tape to tape your stem to it, whatever you want to do. So what I'd like you to do is make your flower, and then when we get together for show and tell later, I want to see the flower that you made. I'll show you a couple of others that I made just so you can see. I traced one with my hand closed instead of open, so it looks a little different, and then I decorated a flower on the inside. I also made a big flower that I made out of 3 handprints, and then I rolled the petals up with my pencil, just like this. Just rolled it up, and then when I let go, it was kind of curly, so they all curled in, and then I glued them together to make a big flower. So get creative, and let me see a little bit later what you guys decided to make. All right, thanks so much for doing art with us. We'll talk to you later.